All right, let's go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan Miller.
And I'm Joe Smith.
Welcome to We'll Decide Wednesday. This is a special feature of the Do Better podcast. Joe, do you want to explain to everyone how this works?
Yeah, so we got a wheel on the screen that has random topics. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend 2 minutes and 30 seconds on whatever the wheel decides for us to talk about. Of course, now for Megan and I, we didn't even practice or set anything up. So we don't know what's going to come up. We didn't practice, like we didn't have any kind of time to prepare what we're going to say. So this is all on the fly, and we only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to talk about this, which is going to be super fun.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
All right, this was one I think Leslie submitted too. How do you
Yeah.
like your steak cooked? No, this was Joshua.
Okay.
Yeah, Joshua. So we're going to talk about the swag at the end, but you're going to be tricky because it's New Zealand. So I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. So this was submitted by Joshua. Thank you for that. And I think, I don't know why I can't remember. I can't keep track. Are you going first or am I, Joe?
I'll go first this time. I think
Okay.
this is a pretty easy one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to even take the whole 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to start my time right now. All right. So how do I like my steak cooked? I think there's only one way that you can really cook steak and it be done properly. And that is cooking it medium. Like I want it pink, but I don't want it to be like eating a dead cow that's still moving. I want it to be like fresh. I want it to be tender. I want it to have that little pinkness to it, but I also want the top to be kind of seared correctly. So it has a little char to it. But if I don't see that, that is a big sign of like you guys didn't properly cook your steak. I know like whenever I cook steak, it's kind of hard sometimes because my my grill gets really super hot pretty quickly, and it's really difficult to monitor. But that's where I use my thermometer to make sure it works. So that's how I like my steak cooked. If you guys have any suggestions of how you like your steak cooked, go ahead and type in the comments below. And I think I'm done, Megan.
Awesome. Well, we did have a few comments, so we'll go ahead and say those while your time's still running, I guess. So Lisa says medium rare. Katie says medium well, and Leslie said medium rare. So Lisa and Leslie, I don't know if you want to like chime in on why it needs to be medium rare, and same Katie for medium well. I think Joe gave a good explanation for his. So Lisa said my burgers need to be medium rare too. This is why I can no longer order burgers in Canada. Do they not? They won't make them like that there.
Do they? Oh, you know what? It's Canada.
Are you
I'm
not allowed
thinking
to
that
do medium rare in Canada?
I think they have to be well in Canada. I could be wrong though.
Just burgers or steak, all meat, all beef?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know Canada. Since Mad
Since
Cow.
mad cow.
That's interesting.
Well, I guess that's
Yeah,
one nice thing about living in the United States where they won't regulate. Well, they'll regulate certain things about being humans, but other things, that could kill you, they don't really care about.
that's interesting that they do that because of mad cow. Just because mad cow is not a virus or bacteria. Mad cow is what is it? It's protein. I
I
think.
don't remember. I don't know enough about it, but Lisa said you're right. It's just the burgers. Unless Leslie has a take on it anyway. She likes her burgers medium well to well, even though she likes her steak medium rare. There's that.
Prion, that's right. Yeah, it's because I remember that because my senior year in high school, which was 2003, I did a project on mad cow disease or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and we talked about the similarities between the two and how mad cow only affects like cows, but there is a form of mad cow that translates into heathens, which is CJD. And I remember that we talked about that, and I discussed how different this type of disease is and how serious it is.
Interesting. Well, Katie
Yeah.
said she likes medium well because she's not a big steak fan, so that's the only way she can stomach it. All right, let's see if I can use up the full 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Are you all ready?
All right.
Okay. So I've kind of had some transitions in my steak eating over time. When I was younger, and I don't think my mom's on, I don't know where she is, but when I was younger, I'm talking like 6, 7 years old. I loved when we would go to like a nice restaurant, once or twice a year, getting filet mignon as like a child when I should have been eating off the kids menu. And then, and I would eat it medium, and I loved prime rib. And then I read some book, like fiction book. I was really into Goosebumps and all of that. And it was in the book, there was lots of very descriptive passages, because the book was based around like the premise that the characters turned into like flesh-eating zombies. And the description of it was like way too realistic. So I stopped eating steak and like any type of steak altogether. And I like barely ate any meat, period. So then when I was like 13, 14, when we would go to restaurants, I only wanted like grilled cheese. And I was too old for the kids menu. So I would eat like grilled cheese or mozzarella sticks. But at some point I finally went back to eating steak, but I'm still really weird. Like I won't eat ham, and I used to love ham, but it just reminds me too much of the book. And when I eat steak, it needs to be medium well, to well. And the reason is like, I just need to like not be reminded that it was ever alive. And I'm also really picky about the steak. Like it needs to be filet. I can sometimes do prime rib still. But if it's any other cut, like forget it. It's not happening. I will not eat it. It's too tough for me. If there's fat I have to cut around, like, nope. And I know some people think that's like the best part. Like, nope, no, thank you. The only place where I eat medium steak for whatever reason, I don't know why, when you go to Japanese steakhouses, like the hibachi grill, I like it medium. And I don't know if it's just because of the way they cook it with so much butter and everything. Their medium is closer to like a medium well or well done anyway. But like if I cut it and there's like a tiny, tiny little bit of pink, I'm okay. But if there's anything, like if the whole piece is pink or like red, and if you can see blood, like no, not gonna eat it. So that's me. And my favorite place to get steak, because it's not like I have a little bit of time left, but only a few seconds, is there's this restaurant called Black Rock, and they bring out a black sizzling rock and you cook your own steak, which you would think based on what I just described, I would not want to do, right? Because they're putting raw meat in front of me and I have to cook it myself. But I love it because I can like cook it just perfect to how I want it. And I don't have to worry about it coming out like bloody or whatever. And their steak sauce is amazing. So if you live by a Black Rock, whenever COVID's over, it's one of those things you have to do there. Like you can't get it to go. But it's so good. Leslie asked if I eat hamburger. I do, but I'm also really picky about that. I didn't actually start eating hamburgers consistently. I was a nightmare if there was a cookout, if there was like hamburgers or hot dogs, because I wouldn't eat either of them for a really long time. But I don't know, probably I went to Shake Shack when I first met my husband. We went to New York and visited some friends there. And we went to like the original Shake Shack in New York City. And that's like pretty much all they had there was hamburgers. And everyone was just like, you have to try it. It's so good. And I really like their burger there at the one in New York. I've been to other ones. They're not as good elsewhere. So I'll eat a burger there, and I will eat like at restaurants. I'll get at certain nicer restaurants that like I'm not in the mood for a steak and they have like fancy burgers, I'll get a burger, but without a bun. I usually don't eat it with a bun. But I don't do like I've never had a Burger King hamburger. I've never had Wendy's hamburger. I've never had any fast food restaurant hamburger you can think of. I've never had Five Guys, like nothing. I've only had McDonald's one time because a parent before I was a BCBA was so excited and like came to the house home. She had brought like her daughter some food and she was like being really nice to me and got, oh sure, now my mom joins. She got me a Whopper or no, a Big Mac. And she was like so excited to give it to me. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I took like 2 bites of it and I was like, oh, I'm full. But that's the only time I've ever had a McDonald's hamburger. My mom knows the drama of fast food with me. Like I'll eat Taco Bell, I'll eat Arby's, but I used to get Arby's and take the meat out and only eat the bun. So I don't know.
Taco Bell is great.
Yeah, I could talk to you all for hours about my weird food stuff, and I'm sure my mom would have other things to add to it. But Vicky, you missed my discussion about steak, so you didn't get to chime in on that. How I like my steak done. Joe said he likes tomahawk. He wants to try a tomahawk steak. Hey, if you ever come here to St. Pete, there's like a restaurant that's famous. There's actually a restaurant that's famous for the tomahawk steaks, but then there's this other restaurant that Blake and I still haven't gone to. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's famous. Like you have to get reservations like months in advance, and they're like super famous for their steaks. And it's supposed to be really good. But
all right, I'll have to keep that in mind, Megan.
And you'll have to go visit Leslie because she has tomahawks in her freezer.
Yes. All right, Leslie, let me know. I'll be down. But yeah. And then Lisa said that Joe, I agree. Heinz ketchup is the only, and I agree with that. There's no other ketchup.
Oh yeah, Burns. That's the steakhouse here in Tampa that everybody loves, but we haven't been there. I also went to a really cool steakhouse in California, in Los Angeles, that like I guess the football players go to or something, and it's like super old fashioned. I can't even like it would take me too long to explain it, but they have like a cart they wheel around and like bring all sorts of stuff to you, but it was like super expensive and ridiculous, but it was really good. So
yeah, there's a place up here that I really like, but it's a chain. It's called Texas State Brazil.
Oh yeah,
so good.
I see. I don't do well at those places. Like I just feel like I waste money because I don't eat most of the things they bring around. So it's like okay, you know.
Yeah.
But they do. A lot of them now have an option where you can just get the salad bar, and I usually just do that if like people want to go because it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of, my favorite steakhouse besides Black Rock is and Katie, if she's still on, she knows, Texas Roadhouse. I have no idea. Like I love their drinks. I love their bread. I love their steak. Like it's such a good deal, especially like since I only eat filet and I haven't been recently, but it's like at one point it was $16 and you got 2 sides with a filet. Like you don't get that anywhere. Fillets are usually 20 or higher. And then of course the peanuts are amazing, but
yeah,
I had to stop going because my son has a peanut allergy. So, all right. So real quick, Joe, do you want to tell everyone about this coffee mug that you made for us?
Yeah. So I made a coffee mug that says "Do Better" pod on it for Megan and I, and I was like, "Oh, this would be great eventually down the road if we ever want to do it for swag." So I was thinking that we can actually make some new Do Better coffee mugs for the swags for people who actually submit stuff to us for the Will Decide Wednesday. So let me know if you like our new logo or the old logo.
Yeah, we didn't really have a formal logo when you made this. You just kind of did like the galaxy space type theme. So
yeah.
But so we have, I think, Leslie and Eric and now Joshua, but Joshua I don't know if we can ship this to New Zealand or not. You three will at least get one. We need to get your addresses.
Yeah.
Since we don't have I have no idea when like the new swag, like more kind of chintzy type stuff will be ready. So, because I haven't even had time to like work with the person to make it. So we just figured that'd be a nice interim thing. So
Yeah.
appreciate you all for actively participating with us each week.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So drop your mail, message us or your addresses so that we can ship that off to you too.
All right. Well, I
Yes.
think we've been on for a bit, so we're gonna go ahead and go. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we can all be really happy next week. But maybe our football teams will all win, and the world will be a really great place.
Yeah. Well, be safe, guys. Have fun, and go out and do better.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.